All right. Good evening again, everyone. Again, for anybody who happened to have seen our first stream that I just did, I'm Brian of WVGamers. So tonight I'm doing a couple separate streams, so then they're separate videos for anyone who's interested, of a couple games that I'm running throughout the month of March. This game is Fabled Fruit from Stronghold Games. And in this, you are basically trying to collect fruit to be able to collect juice cards. And as you can kind of tell from the art, let's go ahead and go small. This is definitely a game that's definitely good for children because it's really nice and cute. But there's a lot of strategy with this game as well. It's also one of their Fabled series of games. And I'll explain what the Fabled series is at the end. But this game is very straightforward. You're going to have a couple different components. You're going to have a pairing of token and a little standee. In the physical game, they're like two different like standee. I think one's a wooden and one's cardboard. These are basically just representing the character that you are playing. So all players would take one, and then they'll use those pieces for the moves that we're going to talk about. These are your location cards, along with the 6 that are out here. These are basically going to be where you're going to move your little token to take advantage of the different abilities listed on them and collect fruit to make juices. The fruit cards are going to be here, and we'll see what types we pull out. I'm going to go through this entire one. I should have preset this up. There's a 5th one in there. I forget which one it is. Banana. And then there's also a smoothie, which is a wild. It'll just be a little glass with all the colors. So you're going to be collecting those. And of course, I made a mess. Let me fix that. Oh well. I will fix this all here in just a minute. Oh, come on. There. All right. So you're going to be collecting those. Gotta love doing a live stream and then having a little weird technical error. Of course, it's not going to let me double click it. There we go. Okay, now we're all fixed. All right. All right, so you're going to be collecting those to be able to turn in those cards to collect these cards. So not only are these location cards for using the abilities that are listed on them, but they're also the juice cards that you need to collect to win at the game. So how the game is going to set up is during your very first game, you're going to play out these 6 cards, and there are 6 types of cards, and there's going to be 4 of each of them. So there's for this, for this, for this, and so on. Each player is going to be given 2 of these fruit cards, and they're just going to be random from the deck. And players are going to select their little token, and that is essentially the setup. You'll pick whoever's going to be the first player, give them some kind of unused marker as representative of the first player, and you can begin. So when the first player goes, they're going to first need to move their token to one of the locations. And at the beginning of the game, you're not going to be on any of the locations, but throughout the game, you'll be on locations as you take turns, you'll be on a location. So you have to move to a different location. So I would have to move from here to one of these other 5 if I was on this location. It's just kind of a rule. And if someone's already on the location that you want to go, let's say I want to go to this location, I would have to actually give that person a fruit card from my hand to be able to go here to use this. If there's multiple players, you'll have to give out multiple cards, one to each of the players, for as many cards as you have. So that is your move action. Once you're at the location, you have one of 2 actions that you must do at that location. You can use the ability that's listed on it. So like this one, draw 2 fruits. You'll just draw 2 fruits from the stack and add them to your hand. So you just draw 2. Or if you have the required cards in your hand to purchase this, you can purchase it. So it's one or the other. So if you have the 3 pineapples and the juice, and that means you just have to have a 4th card. That can be any card. There are actual wild cards, but you don't have to have that wild card. It just means 3 pineapples plus another card. Then it could be another pineapple. And then when you do that, if you purchase it, you'll take it and put it into your hand, and that is one of your points. Now, whenever you take one of these cards, you're then going to pull out another from the top of the deck and place it out. Man, why am I having issues? If there's already a stack of this type, which there's not, you would create a new one. Now, on future draws, you would cover up the existing card out there until a fresh card comes out. And that's just going to be the pattern that's going to happen. We'll leave that one out there. So once you move, you'll perform the action or buy the card. Now, some of these will have these little signposts on them. That means that it requires you to do something, usually give up a card from your hand. Now, if you do not have the required card listed, like this one says, give 1 banana from your hand to another player. If you do not have the required banana card, you can still go here, but you won't be able to perform that action. Instead, you'll get a single card from the deck as a consolation, basically. And you'll see that'll happen on multiple cards. You can see that's on here, that's on this one. This one says discard 2 pineapples. This one says place all fruits from your hand face up on the table. These other ones don't have that because they don't have a specific requirement. So you'll want to just look out for those little signposts. And that's basically all they're telling you is you'll either get a card or the ability if you can't perform it. But every time you move your token, you have to do either the action or the consolation signpost ability, or you must buy a juice. One or the other, you have to do one of them. You can't do both. And you're basically just going to go around the table doing those same actions until one of the win conditions has been met. So if you're in a 2-player game, once one player has 5 of these, the game will finish once everyone's had an equal number of turns. So if this was the first player over here, and this person drew the last card that they, or collected the last juice card they needed, this player and all other players would have have the option to still continue playing. Now, if it ended on the person right before this player, then the game would end after that player's turn. It's an equal number of turns. So in a 2-player game, it's 5 juice cards. 3-player game, it's 4 juice cards, and then 4 and 5 players, it's 3 juices. And that is essentially how the game's going to work. Now, let me take a drink. So the Fabled system is a system that is used in a number of games, like Fine Sands, Power Grid, the Fabled expansion, this game, and I think there's like 2 or 3 other games that use it. What it is it is a twist on the legacy games. Legacy games are games that you'll play over a number of sessions and you'll actually modify those components permanently. So it might be like in Pandemic where you're putting stickers on the board, you might be ripping up cards, you're permanently altering the way that game is going to play. The Fable system does a similar thing, but it doesn't destroy the components and it doesn't prevent you from ever returning to it. So let's assume that, let me set up a couple cards. We're going to just say, for the sake of argument, that there are 24 cards here. I'm not going to look at them directly. So if you have in the game, I just messed that up. Oh well. If you end the game with these cards out, and you might have 7 or 8 or even 9 different types of cards out, you're going to separate those 24 cards because those are going to be the cards you're going to use at the beginning of the next game. Any of the cards that you've already purchased during this game, you're going to put into a separate bag and you're just going to not pull out again. That way, each game that you play, you're always starting where you finished in the last. There is a lot of cards here, over 200 cards in this deck here. And that basically means you're going to be able to have a lot of different experiences when you play this game. So it's very unique in that way. Now, unlike the legacy games where once you tear a component up, you can't go back, since you're just simply separating the cards, you can always reform the deck and start over. How you'll reform the deck is at the top left corner of the cards, they're numbered 1 through, I think it's like 49. So you'll just take all the ones, cluster those together, put the whole cluster of 2s under that 3, and you're just going to reform the deck 1 through 49 with all the multiples clustered together. And then basically you can reset the entire game. It's as simple as that. And you can even take note of which cards you have already used and which cards were in your last game. And you can just kind of do a save state, and you can always pick up a game anytime. So if you're playing with like your children or something, you can have one series of the game and you always have a certain state that you can return to. But let's say you're playing with friends or something like that. You can always revert to that state. You're not stuck playing continuing the same state of the game that you left with your other group or your children. And that's basically how the Fabled system works. Each of the different games have their own take on it, but that's essentially how it works. You'll just separate cards and not destroy them. Other things that are included in this game are these extra tokens and stuff. Basically, certain animals or locations are going to utilize those components. So you'll pull those out whenever they are mentioned on one of these cards. And that is Fabled Fruit. There is one expansion for the game. It's the Lime expansion. Adds more cards, adds a little more variety to the game. I'll provide links on our YouTube page for getting to these if you are interested in buying them. But that's Fabled Fruit from Stronghold Games. If you liked it, I will be demoing it 3 more times on the Envoy Gateway later this month. So go and check out the Envoy Gateway, which I'll also include a link for, and sign up for one of my demos. Now, I've mentioned in a few times what to tell people to go to the Envoy Gateway. I actually just recorded a video walking people through what the Envoy Gateway is that I'll be posting up probably later tonight or tomorrow. I'm probably going to have quite a few streams tonight, so I'll probably post it tomorrow so I don't drive too many people nuts. So look forward to that. If you're curious on what the Gateway is and how you can join it and take part in all the fun games that we run there. So have a great evening. You'll probably see me again here in a little bit with another stream. So I'm Brian with WVGamers.